So there I was, 150 meters from the apex predator of the northern hemisphere. And the apex predator was the one having a panic attack. Let me back up, because the way I eventually stopped that animal was not a gun. It was not a spear. It was not a clever trap built from vines and my superior human intellect. It was a baby bottle. I put a rubber teat on the king of the forest, and 100,000 people watched me do it live. My name is Chen Wei, and 4 hours before any of that, I was an unemployed college graduate standing on a road looking at a mountain. Changbai Mountain. I grew up in a village at the foot of it. My family runs a small supermarket. We do fine. I worked hard my whole life, got good grades, spent 4 years at university in Kyoto, graduated, and then came home. Not because I failed, because I like it here. I like the scenery. I like the animals. I like the enormous, indifferent quiet of an old-growth forest. So the plan was, apply to be a forest ranger. Stable job, and it's the thing I'd want to be doing anyway. The end of the universe is the civil service exam. That's not just a saying. Honestly, I don't care much about employment. But if you want to live your life pressed up against nature, you still need some security. It was July. The sun was blinding. It's July. Almost time for the villagers to go dig ginseng. That's tradition here. Every July and August, everybody goes up for wild ginseng, and if you're lucky, you find an old root and make tens of thousands. It's not a casual thing either. It takes 2 or 3 experienced masters leading a team of 20 or 30 people. You set up camp at the foot of the mountain. You worship the mountain god. Then everybody lines up in a row and walks up together. You don't see that much anymore. I've always been into it. As a kid, I ran into those mountains constantly, and the villagers all said I was incredibly lucky to have survived the time a black bear carried me off. Which, yes, there really are bears on Changbai Mountain. There are also Siberian tigers and leopards. Host detected to be in good health. Binding to Mountain Foraging System in progress. I'm sorry, what? Mountain Foraging System successfully bound. Congratulations, host, for receiving the new player gift pack. Congratulations, host, for unlocking the Treasure Hunting Compass. Treasure Hunting Compass Beginner locates random treasures within a 3-kilometer radius. Treasures include harvestable plants, gold and silver, jewelry, meteorites, etc. Usable once per day. Uses accumulate if unused up to a maximum of 3. Congratulations, host, for obtaining Drone ×1, a live streaming drone with excellent noise reduction, 20 hours of continuous flight on a full charge. Smartphone ×1. The Mountain Foraging System earns reputation points through live streaming, which can be used to draw rewards. When reputation accumulates to a certain level, your compass can be upgraded. I stood on a road and got hardware. Systems exist. That's the first thing. That's the load-bearing fact of my entire life now, and it arrived while I was thinking about ginseng. And I could feel it. I could see the compass option sitting there in my head. Use it, and it finds treasure within 3 kilometers of me. Priority given to unclaimed items. For a man who forages mountains, that is not a perk. That is a miracle. Because I grew up at the foot of this thing, I know exactly what's up there. Wild vegetables, wild fruit, and ginseng, which is worth a car. A lot of it is protected. You can't just dig it up. I'd like that on the record early, because I'm about to spend the next several months in a legally interesting relationship with the natural world. So the system's pitch is simple. Stream it. Get famous, get points, spin the wheel. Which means my new job, the one that replaced Forest Ranger about 4 seconds after I thought of it, is go into the woods and let people watch. Ask me again when the woods start watching back. I'll compress the next stretch because it's the part where the machine turns on and it's the same shape every time. Open stream, walk into mountain, point compass, dig up something worth money. Chat loses its mind. Cash out, spin wheel, repeat. The compass is exactly as broken as it sounds. It doesn't find a thing. It finds the best thing within 3 kilometers every single day, forever. And it stacks up to 3 charges if I'm too busy to use it. The chat found me fast. That part I did not expect. Because it turns out there's an enormous number of people who will sit and watch a man walk through a forest for an hour at a time. And the numbers the system pays out on are viewers times minutes, which means my income is, literally, other people's attention converted directly into lottery tickets. I'm not a forest ranger. I'm a slot machine with a drone. Let me give you 1 day so you understand the rhythm, And then I'll get to the animals, because the animals are the actual story here, and I didn't know that yet. Deep mountain, river, and an otter colony having a party in it. They were writhing around in the water, kicking up spray, celebrating something that made sense only to otters. I stood behind a tree and watched them, grinning like an idiot, and then remembered I hadn't used the compass today. I had 5 charges saved up, which tells you how the week had been going. So I burned one right there, 3-kilometer radius, scan. And the compass marked a treasure spot in the middle of the river, which is to say, inside otter territory. It's ahead? What are the odds? So I'd have to go through the otters? Now, wild otters look adorable. Every single one of them is a gang member. They will attack humans. They will bite your arm until it bleeds. Better not to start anything on stream. My room has a lot of eyes on it, and one bad frame and I get a hat pinned on me, as we say. So I behaved. Wild otters are extremely rare, currently a second-class protected animal. You'll find them in fresh water in some of the deep mountains. They're very sensitive. They see a person, they go under. So getting footage of them out in the open is genuinely rare. Which is when 2 otters noticed me. Instant alarm. They told the others. The entire colony turned and looked at me, and then every one of them dove, and the river was empty. They all ran so fast! That's straight up invisibility! Otters can hold their breath for 8 minutes. Once they're under, you are not finding them. Alright, that's it for today's stream. I'm heading back to the tent. Back on tomorrow. Notify around out here. Who knows what's dangerous at night? Tomorrow, I'm going deeper. That mountain back there should have goods. I'll dig around. Everyone was disappointed. I made a big show of walking back the way I came, killed the stream, and packed up the drone. And then I turned around and looked at the river. Because there was treasure in it, and I am not a good man. I stripped down to my trousers and got in. The trousers stay on. Double protection on a certain region is simply more relaxing. I don't want to hear about it. I wasn't worried about the otters. In almost every case, otters see a human and leave. They know they're not in your weight class. I felt around and I found it. A stone, about the size of an egg. Perfectly ordinary looking, just sort of round. I swam it back to the bank and turned it over in the light. I don't know anything about stones. Jade, agate, jadeite, I've barely touched any of it. The only ore I can reliably identify is gold, which tells you what kind of childhood I had. Looks like there might be jade in there. I held it up to the sun. Nothing. So I got dressed, walked back to the tent, dug out a pocket flashlight, and did the thing I'd seen people do in videos. Pressed the light flat against the stone. And under the surface, there was a faint, soft, wet glow. That's jade. Of course the good stuff is deep in the mountains. These slopes have been carved by rivers for who knows how many million years. There's treasure buried in that water nobody's ever counted. If the compass points into a river, it's money. Every time. I have complete faith in the compass. If it marked the rock is treasure. That's not optimism, that's arithmetic. The jade market is a mess. Prices swing wildly. I don't know anything and I don't know anyone reliable. I'd get fleeced. Could be worth $1 million. Some guy talks fast and I sell it for $30,000. I'll keep it as a whole card, ask around later. Then I went back to the river and burned a second compass charge because I had a thought. What if it's a whole jade nest? It wasn't. The second ping was in the forest and it was a familiar face, Sistanch. Also called the ageless herb, which is the kind of name that does a lot of lifting. It grows straight up out of a thick bed of moss in these distinct little columns. Famous medicine, strong, mostly for the kidneys and the blood. And this time I took all the mature ones, the ones that had already fruited, only the mature ones. Those are done. They don't grow anymore, they just wither. The ones still growing, the ones that hadn't flowered, I didn't touch. I don't need them. The mature ones go to my parents, stew them with a chicken. It's good for them. And as long as I'm not selling it, there's no problem. Not a jade nest then, just one piece that got left behind. Shame. If it had been a nest, who knows what that'd be worth. Then I went back to the tent, ate a little, drank some water, and lay down. Viewers today, 110,347. Average watch time, 1.1 hours. Reputation gained, 121,000. Current total, 142,000. I made 110,000 in a day? Going into the deep mountain is absurd for numbers. Let's do an advanced draw. I need more hole cards right now. Host selects Advanced Draw. Drawing. Advanced reward obtained. Horse cutting saber ×1. An extremely sharp long blade. 1.3 meters. 0.6 meters handle. 0.7 meters blade. Exceptionally tough. A horse cutting saber? Why would it give me this? It's cool. I'll give it that. Genuinely cool. Uniquely aggressive. But I can't take it out and use it. How would I explain that to the chat? Put it away. Deal with it back at the farm. And that's the loop. That's the whole engine. Rock in a river, herbs for my mom, and a medieval anti-cavalry weapon I have to hide from my own audience because I live stream for a living. Ask me again tomorrow when I go over the ridge. Next morning, I was up early. Body felt good. Pack up, go deeper, see what the mountain has, look at some animals, because you don't see most of these animals out where people are. You have to get into the old forest, then it's all in there. I scanned around. Nothing dangerous. Ate some dry rations, opened the stream, and broke camp on camera. Just me, the whole time. Nobody else for kilometers. The room filled fast. People love a spectacle. Passed 30,000 before breakfast was done. By 10, I was standing high on a slope looking out at a sea of cloud and mist that honestly looked dangerous and was spectacular. Today we hunt goods for real. Can't come all this way for nothing. Herb density goes up around here. Let's see if I can find something big. Old shoe, let's go. Deep mountain like that? He's definitely finding something good. Down off the ridge into thick forest. Higher elevation, more goods. It went fine. Big patches of medicinal plants here and there. I'd bag some of each. Sell it or keep it. Either way, you don't lose. Honestly, this trip was already profitable even if I found nothing, because the stream was hot and the gift income alone was clearing 10,000 a day. Everything was easy and pleasant. Right up until I smelled it. Something sharp. Straight up into the brain. Like something had fermented. I looked down. And I woke all the way up. Oh, that's tiger. That's fresh. The look on my face did something to the chat. What? More tiger droppings? We haven't seen a tiger, but we've now seen 2 piles of its business. So that means the Siberian tiger is right around here? Oh no. Oh no. I'm suddenly very tense. What do we do? I looked around. Nothing. And my danger perception hadn't fired, which meant the tiger hadn't spotted me. Or it had, and it just didn't want me. I'm taking another route. That tiger is right here. The odds of this are tiny, and I still managed it. Isn't this thing supposed to be out patrolling its territory? It patrolled here? So I turned and walked a different way. 200 meters out, in the tall grass, a very full Siberian tiger was watching me. It had already seen me. It wasn't hungry, so it had no opinion about me. It was mostly just curious about why the 2-legged animal had come out here. This is, after all, its land. It's not trying to take my territory, is it? So the tiger watched. And of all the directions available to me on an entire mountain, I picked one, directly toward the tiger. And now the tiger got nervous. Oh no, is that 2-legged thing coming for me? I jogged a couple of steps and started feeling wrong. Why is my back cold? My feet had gone slow, like my body had opinions about forward. I'd seen tiger sign and my whole plan was get out of this area, say nothing, just leave. But a few steps in, it felt off. My observation is good. That's a skill the mountain beat into me as a kid. I stopped dead and swept my eyes across the ground ahead, and my expression went grim. Something's there. The tiger had been 200 meters out. I jogged us down to about 150, and between us was grass and leaves and branches, a solid green wall. At that range, spotting it is near impossible. A tiger's eyesight is excellent, and it chooses its angle on you deliberately because their hunting style is ambush. Hide first, then deliver one strike, which means their hiding is also world-class. Old shoe, why did you stop running? Streamer, don't do this to me. I slowed down. Because if it has seen me, running is the worst available idea. Something's not right. I feel like something's locked onto me. I'm not joking. The tiger may already have found me. And the whole mood of the room dropped. Every swaying branch was suddenly a threat. People finally understood what the old phrase means, the wind in the reeds, and every bush is a soldier. There was a genuine feeling of suffocation in that chat. And up on the high ground, in the grass, the tiger poked its head out and quietly sized me up. This happens, by the way. A guy walking home from work once had a tiger lying in the grass by the road. He got close, startled it, and the tiger bolted. Man staggered backward and questioned his entire life. So, tigers don't always attack people. I kept walking, still scanning, and then I made eye contact with a pair of eyes in the grass. Just because. I looked one extra time into the leaves at you, and every hair on my body stood straight up like I'd been hit by lightning. Those enormous eyes, ringed in heavy black liner. Ask me again in a second, because I'm about to do the stupidest smart thing of my life. Here's what the 100,000 people watching expected. A chase, a flight, a man running for his life through a forest with a drone trying to keep up. Here's what happened. I threw a bottle of milk at it, and the tiger started drinking. The room hit 100,000 for the first time in my life, and every single person in it broke. What? That's a Siberian tiger, king of 100 beasts, the most vicious predator on the continent, the boss of the entire forest? And he got bought off with a bottle of formula? I relaxed because I already knew it didn't mean me harm. The good person card makes wild animals feel friendly toward me. They won't hurt me. It doesn't make them dependent on me like Mother Leopard, who started out at basic goodwill and only came to trust me later because I kept babysitting her kids. I made a show of taking 2 steps back. This tiger is still young. It's normal for it to be interested in milk. It doesn't seem hostile toward me, but it's a wild animal, still need to be careful. At which point a banner appeared at the bottom of my stream. Dangeric tronacity, do not imitate. Meanwhile, at the National Forest Park Tiger and Leopard Monitoring Station, Patrol Officer Liu Changfeng got a phone call telling him a streamer had run into a wild Siberian tiger and was still broadcasting. He went rigid. He ran into a wild Siberian tiger? This streamer is out of his mind. He pulled out his phone and found me immediately, because at that moment my room was doing absurd numbers. A man alone in old-growth forest, live with a tiger. And I hadn't left. I'd backed off a few steps into the grass and was watching it. So was everyone else. It's a solid animal, belly round, legs thick with muscle. And it was lying there contentedly working on a baby bottle. And Liu Changfeng, watching this, worked out roughly what had happened. A bottle stopped a tiger? That's impossible. By body size, that animal is about 10 months old, not fully grown. It should be interested in meat. And then something occurred to him, and he typed into my chat in front of everyone. Changbai Mountain Tiger and Leopard Patrol Officer Liu Changfeng. Streamer, look closely at that tiger. Does it have a scar on its right front paw? And he DM'd me the same question. Patrol work is boring, so he films rescues and patrol footage. He's got his own account, 4,000 followers. The chat spotted it and started screaming at me. I saw it. A Tiger and Leopard Patrol Officer just messaged me, wants me to check the tiger's right front paw for a scar. I can see it. Hold on, let me confirm. I got the binoculars out and looked at the paw holding the bottle, and there it was. There's definitely a scar. He asked to come on voice. I said yes. The screen split in half. One side me, in a forest, filming a tiger. The other side, a man in a patrol officer's uniform, sitting in a monitoring station. The chat went electric. The platform had actually been about to warn me for dangerous streaming. Then, an official appeared on my feed, and the ops team quietly decided to hold off. Hello, Chen Wei. I'm Liu Changfeng from the Tiger and Leopard Monitoring Station. I've been looking for this tiger. We all assumed it was dead. I want to tell you about this animal. It was abandoned by its mother 6 months ago. There's a wild tigress. We named her Li Qin. She had 3 cubs. She was raising all 3. Then, one day, on our monitoring system, we saw that one of the cubs had injured its front paw, and she abandoned it. It was winter. The snow was extremely deep. Vehicles couldn't get in. So we sent people in on foot to search for that cub, to try to save it. We looked for 2 days. We never found it. We assumed it was dead. For 6 months, we assumed it was dead until I saw your stream. And I realized this is that cub. I can't believe it's alive. I was, genuinely, stunned. You're saying this tiger was abandoned by its mother 6 months ago? It's in good shape. It seems to have taken this nameless little mountain as its territory. It's showing me no hostility. Be careful anyway. Tigers are extremely aggressive. It's not attacking you because it isn't hungry. I recommend keeping your distance. Understood. I'll stop bothering you. Get out of there. Stay well away from it. And he closed his feed. And the chat, 100,000 people who had come here to watch a man get eaten, went very, very quiet. It was abandoned? By its own mother? That's heartbreaking. 6 months ago was January or February. Changbai was under a meter of snow. She couldn't feed 3 cubs. She had to drop one. Nature is so cruel. But it grew up this big? I finally understand why the bottle worked on this tiger. Litter it is. That's what nobody in that room said out loud. And all 100,000 of them got there at the same time. It's not a gag. That animal is 10 months old. It should have been nursing until it was 6 months at least, and hunting alongside its mother until it was 2 years. It got none of that. It got a broken paw and a snowfield and a mother who made an arithmetic decision. It has been feeding itself since it was 4 months old. Alone. Through a Changbai winter. And it won. It's out here fat, with a territory, patrolling ground it took by itself. And you can hand it a rubber teat and it will lie down in the grass and drink. Because somewhere under 300 kilos of the most efficient predator in the Northern Hemisphere, there's a cub that never got to finish being one. The comments were still scrolling too fast to render. There were too many people talking. That stream was the turning point of my entire career. I came up here to dig roots. Ask me again when I find out what she does when I try to leave. I got up to head back. And the tiger finished the bottle, looked at me, and came jogging after me. I knew it meant nothing by it. The 100,000 people did not know that. The tiger's coming. Old Surun. The tiger is chasing the streamer. Can we pause? Can somebody pause this? It's over. It's all over. This is a guaranteed death scene. The room detonated. Because from where they're sitting, a man, alone, in the middle of nowhere, being run down by a tiger, a god couldn't save him. And it got closer. And closer. And right as 100,000 people braced for a starving tiger pouncing on prey, I reached into my pocket and took out another bottle. Then I stopped walking, held it up, and pointed the teat at the tiger. The drone caught all of it, and the chat just stopped functioning. What are you doing? You're not running, and you pulled out a bottle? At least take out a knife. You're going to fight a tiger with a rubber teat? Palms sweating. Nobody breathing. Half of them couldn't look. And the tiger got closer and closer, and at about 1 meter it slowed down. It didn't attack. It walked up gently, put its head forward, and bit down on the teat. Its mouth is enormous. The teat is tiny. The visual was objectively ridiculous. Nobody found it funny. Everyone was too busy having a cardiac event and trying to reboot their brain. It didn't attack him? It chose the milk? What? Is this even a tiger? I stood there holding the bottle up and got my first proper look at her. That head. Up close, this cat's head is massive. A human fist on that face looks like a grape, genuinely imposing. And she was tilting her chin up, swallowing in that steady rhythm, which made her look, unfortunately, adorable. So I couldn't help it, right hand on the bottle, and with my left, I slowly reached toward her head. And the chat ascended. What is he doing? Is he going to peat it? Is he actually? And under the horrified gaze of 100,000 people, my left hand landed on the top of a wild Siberian tiger's skull. My palm covered the wong on her forehead, the character for king that every tiger is born wearing. I went with the grain. Not as nice as I expected. The fur's a bit stiff. Dense, though. Not as soft as a house cat's head, but it makes up for it on surface area. Bigger head. Better petting. It doesn't seem hostile toward me. Sure, not hostile now. What about when the milk runs out? It's not eating you this second. What about in a minute? How do you plan to run exactly? In their eyes, I was the tiger's hostage. Or, more accurately, its stored rations. They don't know about the good person card, so none of this can possibly make sense to them. I know exactly what's happening. This tiger is like the leopard now. No hostility, more like a companion. I've spent time around big cats. That mother leopard from before, I rescued her too. I can feel their emotions. You can all relax. This golden shaded cat has zero interest in attacking me. Don't believe me? Watch. And I took my hand off her forehead and grabbed her cheek. The white fur on the side is actually quite soft. She had no reaction at all. She just kept seriously drinking. At which point, the chat gave up. We're over here having a heart attack for you. Could you please stop courting death? You're just grabbing a tiger's face? Is being alive not good? Old shoe, I'm done. Do whatever you want. This streamer is alive purely on luck. Changbai Mountain's #1 loafer, the name fits. I give up. I'm out. I concede. Under 100,000 pairs of eyes, she finished the bottle. And everybody tensed, because a lot of them had decided that the instant the milk was gone, she'd turn on the idiot standing next to her. They didn't want to watch something that bloody. All gone. I put the bottle away and told her, out loud, like a man talking to a cat. She licked her lips, savoring it. Goat milk, by the way. Easier for animals to digest. Better for cubs. That's what I carry. And then she pushed her head into my body and slid down onto her side. In tiger, a head bump means friendly. She has no hostility toward me at all. And only when she lay down did 100,000 people finally let their hearts back down into their chests. She really doesn't mean it. She just lay down, like they'd known each other for years. People have only ever seen this in a zoo, so I sat down too and rubbed her head. Foraging can wait. If I have a chance to pet a tiger, I'm going to pet the tiger for a while. This big, fat cat. Her face is soft. She's not hostile. Everyone relax. Is this actually a wild Siberian tiger? It's this gentle? Maybe it's only gentle with the streamer. Normal people should still run. I worried about old Chen for half an hour and he ended up making friends with it? Northeast's #1 beast tamer? I'm still scrambled. My heart is pounding. I rubbed her face, then started scratching under her chin. That's the thing nobody in that chat has worked out yet. She's not tame. Nobody tamed her. She spent the worst winter of her life learning that nothing was coming for her, and then a two-legged animal walked up out of nowhere and offered her the one thing she got cheated out of. And she took it in her mouth as gently as she knows how, at 1 meter, with a jaw that could take my arm off at the shoulder without changing expression. She's not drinking because she's hungry. She's full. She'd already eaten. Her belly's round. She's drinking because somebody finally offered. Ask me again when she notices I have a home to go to. Let me skip ahead because by autumn my life had changed shape entirely, and it changed because of a different cat. I have a farm now. The foraging paid for it. And somewhere in there the math flipped. Foraging used to be the job, the thing that put money in my pocket. Now the farm is the job, and going up the mountain is a hobby. Something I do on my day off. Which, looking back, tells you everything about running mountains for a living. It's brutal work. Everybody out there grinding up those slopes for ginseng is earning exactly what the suffering is worth, and not 1 yuan more. I got out. Most people don't. And living on my farm, at this point, is a leopard. His name is Little Flower, and he is a Siberian leopard, and he has adapted to farm life. He's adapted too well. Personality-wise, there is now no meaningful difference between him and a large dog. He's only affectionate with me, though. The staff were terrified at first. A few days in, they got over it. So did the other animals. The Sika deer can stand next to him now without losing its mind. Little Flower really isn't like a wild leopard. Not that much wildness left in him. He just follows the farm system. His mother, Big Flower, is out there somewhere. I rescued her once, and then spent a season babysitting her cubs, which is why she went from tolerates this human to trusts this human. Then she left. Went deep into the mountains, the way leopards do. That's good news, by the way. A leopard's survival ability is enormous. Apart from tigers, there is nothing out there it needs to fear, and they prefer being alone. Every big predator up there does. Alone is easier to hide, and hiding is how you live. I'd been off the mountain for days, so, mountain day. Little Flower came with me. He lives in forest anyway, it makes no difference to him. And the first thing he did was take me to the place his mother used to live. He ran ahead the second he recognized it and stood in the clearing and called out, "Awoo! Awoo!" into the empty air. I looked around. Nothing. No animal sign for a long time. The place looked desolate. Big Flower is gone. Really gone. Deeper into the mountains. Let's go. Big Flower isn't here. She'll come find you eventually, for sure. You spend the winter at my place, that's fine. And he immediately trotted up to walk beside me. I got the drone out, put it up, opened the channel. Little Flower's here too! Long time no see! I genuinely love this adorable, enormous leopard. I think the Siberian leopard is better looking, honestly. She looks so healthy. A lot of my animals have their own fan bases now. The Sika deer, Little Black, the little fatty bird. People like watching cute things do things. Little Flower is, obviously, number one. So we walked. Me in front, leopard behind. One man, one leopard, strolling through an autumn forest. It looks, I'm told, like a forest edition of I Am Legend. Half an hour in, we were moving through thin, bare woods, leaves piled thick underfoot. And a black bear came out of the trees. This is the season where a black bear is at its absolute strongest, right before hibernation. It needs to put away an enormous amount of food to survive the winter. It had heard something. It came out to hunt. And it saw me. And it saw Little Flower. Little Flower looked curious, big eyes blinking. I didn't even brace. I just stopped walking with no defensive posture whatsoever. One man, one leopard. "What's up, bear bro? You need something?" The bear looked at me, then at the leopard, and froze, and very carefully took 2 steps backward, and then turned its head and left. Black bear. "Sorry to bother you, just out for a stroll." Holy crap, there's a black bear! Huh? Why'd it run? Are you serious? Swap places with it. You wouldn't run? There's nothing to be done here. One leopard and a druid. Run or die. That bear left so fast it didn't even look back. Having Little Flower along does make the forest safer. It has a downside though. With a leopard next to me, the cute things, squirrels, roe deer, will never come near me again. They're not stupid. They know what he is. It's getting cold. The mountain won't be as lively as it was. Animals stop coming out. Anything with a den has gone back to the den. Things without dens, Sika deer, roe deer, they'll just be wandering out here. Their coats are thick enough, they'll get through the winter. Sun was out, made it bearable. We got near the river and I burned the compass on a treasure hunting mission. Mission triggered, feed the sable. Description, feed one hungry sable. Reward, the sable's goodwill. Item provided, raw meat. Costs 1,000 reputation. Simple, just feeding. And the target made me genuinely happy. Because that's what this system actually is, and it took me months to notice. It doesn't pay me to kill things. It doesn't pay me to take things. It hands me a bottle of goat milk and 1,000 points of my own fame and points at something hungry, and the entire reward is that the hungry thing stops being afraid of me. I have a leopard who walks me to work because I looked after her kids. Ask me again when the sable decides what it thinks of me. Winter passed. I'll spare you it. Come early spring, I'd been down to the village to check on Little Black, my dog, who has, and I want to be precise about this, joined a gang. He's out there running with the local dogs and has become a core member of the organization. Which tracks. He's big. He looks imposing. Inevitably, some of the local females are into that. He's having a great time. Mountain villages? Never boring. Spring was coming on. Everything that had been holding its breath all winter was starting to move again, like the animals had all been told the weather was about to improve. Like the nature documentaries put it, spring is here, all things revive, and once again, it is the season for animals to... Anyway, I was busy with business. purely focused on making it bigger and stronger and achieving new glory. The purple linger I picked a while back, I didn't sell it. I put it in a flower pot as a houseplant. Say what you want, the shape is distinctive. It looks good. It's in my living room. So I took the black horse out instead to wander the property because traffic was peaking that week and I might as well stream some daily life and bank the reputation. This streamer has a horse too? What a gorgeous horse! The horse doesn't get out much. He shows up in maybe one video in 10. Good crowd today, 130,000. Thanks for watching. A lot of you know me from the foraging videos. I'm actually a farm owner. I like keeping animals, growing things. All this land you're looking at is mine. Snow's still down. Around mid-March, we start planting. I hopped up, belly across his back first, then swung the right leg over. He's completely docile now. Ever since I tamed him and brought him home, his personality has gotten better and better, and he plays well with every animal on the property. The farm isn't the forest. It's a different ecosystem, one where every species gets along. Hold on, this foraging streamer is loaded? I thought he was some guy who lived in the hills. I saw third-party footage of him doing business out of an Audi A6. He's a straight-up boss. By Northeast standards, that's the rich column. Rides horses, raises sika deer, feeds tigers and leopards. This is obviously not a normal person. That farm looks incredible. My dream. A lot of them had turned up for the brown bear thing and stayed for this instead, and ended up liking me for different reasons than they arrived with. This streamer looks so free. Riding horses, raising deer, messing with cats and dogs, greenhouse going up in the background, a huge field waiting to be planted. Genuine pastoral poetry. Real rural life is, of course, usually boring and monotonous and nothing like what people imagine. I'm just personally having a great time. The snow hadn't fully melted off the fields. That's fine. Timely snow promises a good harvest. It freezes the insects out of the soil and conditions the ground, so next year's crop comes in stronger. The horse ran and left neat round prints across the snow, and I made a mental note to get him new shoes in a few days so he'd run easier. The plan was, wander a bit, run the manhwa through a couple of obedience bits, end the stream. And then, from somewhere past the fence, came a sound. Ying, ying, ying. The cuteness arrived before the animals did. And I grinned, because I know that sound. It's the 3 little foxes I used to feed. They were barely adults back then, small. And then they vanished, didn't come by all winter, and I'd been worried. Their arch-enemy, the Arctic fox, lived on my farm for months and only left in early February. It's the 3 foxes I raised. Haven't seen them in ages. I thought something had happened to them. I patted the horse and he stopped dead, and I swung down and ran. And the 2 males came flying at me first, fast, agile, kicking up sprays of snow with every footfall. The drone caught all of it, and the whole stream went warm. Ah, little foxes, so cute! Are those wild foxes? This streamer's life is too blessed. Those are the foxes he fed last year. Old Chen has fed so many animals. Haha, true. Apart from wild boars, his mortal enemies, he's fed basically everything. Wild boar? So being ugly means I deserve this? And I dropped into a crouch and put both hands out and just started petting them. Long time no see. They didn't come back for food. They came back through snow, across a valley, at a dead sprint to a man on a horse. Because a year ago, somebody was kind to them once. That's the whole thing. That's the entire engine of my life now. And it isn't the compass, and it isn't the lottery. I spent one winter being decent to things that had no reason to expect it. And they keep coming back. Ask me again when I find out who the 3rd fox brought with her. Long time no see. Where did you 2 go? I was worried something happened to you. You didn't come by all winter. Both of them flopped onto their backs in the snow and started wriggling, going full cute offensive, tails whipping back and forth. So I scratched their chest fur and they got happier. I want to pet a fox too. Look how rubbable they are. 3 foxes. 2 males, 1 female. The 2 males fight every day and are relentlessly hyperactive. The female is much quieter. She just likes standing near me looking cute. And here she came. Slower, with a smile she couldn't hide. And that's when I noticed something off. She looked bloated. You have got to be kidding me. I stood up and went to her, and both males rolled over and followed me, and I got down and looked properly. Round belly, obviously pregnant. Oh, she's pregnant. That's why they're back. She wants to do her lying in at my place. So I rubbed her head and calmed her down. She really is the sweeter one. Quiet. Better smile. And then I turned around, grabbed both males, and said in the tone of a father conducting an interview, "You two, confess. Whose is it?" They just went ying 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 and kept being adorable. Old Chu, congratulations on the promotion to dad. None of the benefits, all of the dirty work. These foxes are too cute. Give me one. I'll raise it. Honestly, I figured that once spring came, these three would keep the line going. I just assumed the two males would fight about it. Looking at it now, the three of them get along fine. This relationship is a mess. I'm not qualified to comment. All I can say is that I was too conservative. The chat lost it. A three-fox arrangement? This world really is unhinged. And here's the part that actually got me. The foxes didn't want anything. They didn't come for help. They came onto my farm to find a spot and dig a den, because they know it's safe here. Nothing is going to threaten their kits. Little Black and the Malinois are their friends. The horse and the deer eat grass. And as for the leopard, his stats are entirely in being adorable. 0 points allocated to attack. They can just live here. So I played with them a while. Good stream, honestly. They showed up right on camera and gave the whole thing some life. And then, should feed them some meat. Some fruit, too. They look thin. They didn't come to me all winter. No idea where they were. Their hunting must be good, probably catching mice under the snow. Then I got on the horse and rode for the farm, leaving the drone behind to keep filming them, and came thundering back with dried meat and dried fruit. There was still a pile left over from New Year. Understand what happened here. A pregnant wild fox, who has spent her entire life being hunted by everything with teeth, walked out of the forest and onto private land owned by a human being, because she had done the math and concluded that the safest place on Changbai Mountain to have her children was next to the guy who fed her once last year. She didn't ask me for anything. She just came home. Ask me again in spring when there are kits. Let me tell you about the black bear, because at some point my relationship with the wildlife of this mountain stopped being wholesome and started being, in the chat's words, organized crime. I was standing in a clearing watching a genuinely harrowing scene in the trees. A hive had just suffered a catastrophe. Those bees are going to have to relocate and start over. Because there was a black bear sitting next to it eating with tremendous enjoyment. And then it noticed me. And, because it knows me, it picked the hive up in its mouth and came running straight at me. Which set the bees off again. "Do not come over here!" I stuck my hand out and yelled it. The bear could not hear a word I was saying on account of the enormous volume of furious bees. What it did hear, approximately, was, "Come over here." So it sped up. Black bears are fast. I backed up several steps at speed because my primary concern was that this idiot was about to bring a wasp escort directly to my face. Bears, though, the defense on them is real. Those wasp stingers are long and it just does not care. It stopped about 8 or 9 meters out. Its face was visibly swollen. You could watch it happening. The hive was empty now. Everything in it had flown out to pursue business elsewhere. I held still, watching for wasps. And the bear dropped the hive on the ground, hooked a claw into it, and tore it open. And golden comb honey came pouring out. Comb honey is top tier. You don't see this. It isn't in shops. It's a thing that only exists in the mountains, and it is incomparably better than the honey normal people eat. I took 2 steps closer, and I could smell it in the air. That sweetness. I'd never seen comb honey either. I knew it was good, but normally there's no way to get any. There are too many bees, and I'm not interested in having them crawl on me. The drone caught the whole thing. Wild honey! I hear the nutritional value is way above store honey. That looks incredible. Can I buy some to put in tea? Old Shu, I'm buying that comb. Did the black bear just voluntarily hand old Chen the honey? It's that obedient? And I worked out what the bear meant by it and got interested. I pulled a bottle of sports drink out of my pack, brought it for energy, but it was about to have a better career. Comb honey. I hear it tastes incredible and you basically never see it. Since the black bear is offering, I'll take a little. So I unscrewed it, drank several big gulps, poured the rest on the ground, and now I had a container. Then I walked over with a clean knife and started scooping comb honey into a sports drink bottle. And the bear sat down next to me and watched, with a big, dumb smile on its swollen face. Meanwhile, a wave of people were hitting my stream for the first time, cold, with no context. And every one of them broke. What? What is this? What is old Chen doing now? They'd ask, and get told, the black bear brought him the honey, voluntarily. Hold on, the bear is giving him honey? You're sure? Is it not completely normal for old Chen to be doing this? Brother Wei, I concede. I fully concede. This bear understands trouble? Old Chen looks like he's here collecting protection money. I got about 2/3 of a bottle. Clean honey, you can put it straight in water at home, or cook with it. And standing there smelling it, I had already worked out several approaches to roast duck. I got some duck recipes as a goodwill reward from the merganser a while back, and it has been too long since I had roast duck. I screwed the cap on, wiped it down with a wet wipe, and packed it. This honey's good. It's right for roast duck. You make the crisping wash with honey, brush it over the duck, then roast it. Meat comes out fragrant and crisp, little bit sweet. Then you take a thin pancake, dip the duck in sauce, put it in, add the scallion and the cucumber. That's the good stuff. I've done some research on food. I have a lot of free time. All right, you eat. You were kind enough to bring me honey. You're a good kid. I'll catch you some fish sometime. Old Chen has officially become the mountain's underworld. Even the black bears pay him protection money. Which is funny. And which is also, I'd like to point out, exactly backwards. Nobody in that chat is asking the obvious question, which is, why is there a bear that knows me? There is a bear on this mountain that got its face destroyed by an entire hive and stood there in a cloud of wasps in genuine pain, and the first thought it had upon seeing me was to pick the prize up and bring it over. I didn't take the honey. It was given to me by a wild animal with a swollen face who then sat down to make sure I liked it. Ask me again when I find out what a Siberian tiger considers a gift. Around then, 2 men tried to rob my farm at night and got repelled by my geese. The footage is exactly what you're imagining. Pitch dark, 2 cringing figures, and a wall of enormous geese launching out of the black at them. It went viral immediately. Old Chen's farm, literally anything can happen there. Are geese this savage? They'll try to arrest you? They're just geese. Couldn't you run? Pitch black, can't see anything, a flock of geese pecking you? Any man would be scared. These thieves are so unlucky, so humiliating. So the next day, I ordered proper fencing, green iron, almost fully sealed. And then, because the foxes come and go, I had them leave 5 little doors along the bottom. And I personally walked the fox family over to show them where the doors were. They followed me, curious, and the second I pointed under the fence, they got it. 2 of them went straight out and started running laps around the outside while the other 2 watched them through the bars. Then I called Sang Biao, my tabby, over to learn the doors too. He bared his teeth at me contemptuously and left. Fair, that cat has only ever used the front entrance. Walks in through the living quarters like a landlord. He has no use for a fence door. Then I gave Little Black and Ingot a stern talk. You 2 are supposed to be guarding the house. You need to be more alert at night. You sleep like the dead. Thieves came in and you didn't even know. Ingot puffed his chest out, eyes full of resolve, apparently swearing it would never happen again. Little Black just looked at me with the pure, guileless innocence of a dog who does not know what a thief is. And that day, there was a surprise. Through the bars, I saw Little Flower outside. I got happy and started heading for the gate. There's a big door in the corner of the fence, usually locked. He took 2 steps and jumped clean over it. What are you doing back? Where's Luna? I caught him and asked, laughing. He turned his head to look behind him, and I followed his eyes. And out past the open ground, Luna was lying flat in a hollow, watching me from a distance. It's too exposed out there. Leopards are born wary. She's going to hide. You 2 came? That's great. Just stay on the back mountain. That stretch of forest is safe, and people don't go there. She can carry the pregnancy in peace. And I was genuinely, honestly happy. Little Flower found somebody, and they came to tell me. But here's the thing I did next, and it's the most important decision in this whole story. I stopped streaming their location. Because Little Flower and Luna are too famous now. Somebody had cut their whole story together. The first meeting, Luna coming to find him going back to find her. It's a great story. It has an enormous fan base. And when there are a lot of people, there are problems. Because there was a Sika deer in Dalian that got famous. And within days, somebody sawed its antlers off. And looking at Luna, pressed flat in that hollow, watching me across open ground, it is extremely obvious that she does not want to be bothered. You two stay hidden on the back mountain. Come around less, for now. It's not good for people to see you. Luna's going to give birth. She needs to be hidden. I'll come see you two now and then. And I rubbed his big face while I said it, calming him down. And he started purring, that big, rumbling engine sound. Turns out all cats are the same. Happy cat, purring cat. He'd only come back to say hi. That was the whole visit. Then he sprang away, and the two of them left together, running side by side, easy and unhurried, out across the open ground and gone. And I stood at my own fence and laughed. Once Luna has those cubs, one way or another, I'm being the milk dad. Going to go feed those little leopards, because if a leopard knows me from infancy, then it stays close to me when it's grown. It's the thing where a lion or a leopard gets released into the wild, and years later sees the keeper who raised it, and still comes barreling over to say hello. That's already happening with the foxes. 4 kits now. Tiny things, much smaller than the adults, absurdly lively and exactly like their parents. Every generation joins the payroll, and the mother fox and the father foxes watch the kits mob me and look satisfied. We didn't raise you wrong. He's the boss of this farm, and the kits know it. They're only affectionate with me. Wang Wu thought they were cute and went to pet one, and it immediately ran to me. Hey, have these things all become spirits? Why do they only let the farm owner touch them? Wang Wu said that with real indignation. Look at what I just did, though. I have the biggest wildlife channel in the country. My entire income, the compass upgrades, the lottery, the farm, all of it, runs on people watching my animals. And the 2 most popular animals I have just got taken off the air. Permanently. Because one of them is pregnant and the other one asked me for a safe place. I make my living selling access to these creatures. And the second the access started costing them something, I closed the account. Nobody made me. Nobody would have known. Ask me again when the cubs come. By this point, my range had gotten wider. I'd started going out to other mountains entirely, flying out, meeting up with outdoor clubs, and coming home wrecked. Once a month is plenty. The travel is what gets you, not the mountain. The Ilau Mountains trip was the one that spooked people. I came down a river on a pack raft, and partway through, the chat watched a python slide off the bank straight into the water next to me. That rippling pattern, unmistakable. It just looked at me and went about its day. No interaction. I put in at a calm bank, packed the raft, and walked out. That's it for today's Ilau foraging. We didn't get to the deep part. If you want to go deep, you need an air testing rig. And a tent. I've got a pack raft in my bag, no room for a tent. So going deeper means somebody else carries one. More bears here, more insects and snakes. That's about it. Not too dangerous, but ordinary people should still stay out. This isn't dangerous? I watched all day and nearly died of fright. You could film a Tomb Raider movie with this footage. Very real. Very scary. Decorating. Ilau Forest isn't bright. The color of it makes it look sinister. There are peacocks and silver pheasants. How bad can it be? I kept walking out. My stamina impresses people, which is only because I do this constantly and got built by it. Python and a brown bear, and no real conflict with either. We're out. Not too roundabout. I turned and looked back at that tangled, complicated mountain. That exit route was good. I've got it memorized. Next time, I'll come in this way. Should be faster. There was a group of people who watched that entire stream and came away more convinced that there's something bad in those mountains. People believe what they want to believe. That's not wrong, exactly. Dinner with the outdoor club, photos, flew home the next day, and the farm was the way it always is, quiet and good. All the little ones out doing their things. A lot of them treat this place as home now. So I did what I always do when I get back. Fed everybody. Next morning, I went straight to the back mountain. 6 bottles in the bag. Not a chance of running short. Professional milk dad. Because I hadn't seen the little leopards in a while, and I missed them. And when I got there, Little Flower was visibly delighted. He'd been fretting for days. I hadn't come. And the cubs went off, genuinely off, bouncing, springing, absolutely unstoppable, like something had been added to their food. Little Flower doesn't know this, but he was far worse as a cub. More energy. And back then it was only Big Flower raising him. She looked like a woman who had stopped wanting to be alive. Good thing I was around. So I fed them, a bottle each, all 4 leopards, every one. Then I sat down to play with the cubs, and that's when Little Flower and Luna looked at each other, and both stood up. They looked at me, sitting in the dirt with their children, and then both of them ran off into the trees together, apparently to go hang out, relive their alone time. "Hey, where are you going?" I asked this while holding 2 baby leopards. They did not look back. I want to be clear about what happened there. 2 apex predators, one of whom is a wild leopard who has never trusted a human in her life, looked at me and looked at their cubs and made a decision, and went on a date. Ask me again when I work out how I became a babysitter for a species that eats people. Let me back up to that autumn because I skipped the day I went looking for the tiger, and there's something in it. I'd climbed a tree. The mother black kite was circling above it, watching, terrified, because what happened in that nest today was past what she could handle. A cuckoo chick had turned up, and a nest that should have been a warm, ordinary place had been taken apart. That's how cuckoos work. The chick hatches first, and then, blind and naked, it gets its back under every other egg in the nest and rolls them over the edge, one at a time, until it's the only one left. And the parents feed it anyway. They feed it while it grows larger than they are. It should have ended the way it always ends. Then I showed up, and I got 1 egg back. I climbed up and put it back in the nest. 187,400 the system offered for this was that specific black kite's goodwill, the one inside the egg. When it grows up, it will come find me on its own. Which is fine. Reasonable, honestly. That bird's life belongs to me, because it wouldn't have one otherwise. Grow up fast, little guy. Winter's coming. You're a late birth. Getting through the winter won't be easy for you. I'll come check on you in a while. Thank God for old Chen. That was incredible. Right? We were just curious what kind of bird was in the nest, and we got this. Old Chen streams are always this intense. I did not expect him to climb a tree that tall. I came down covered in bark dust and grit, brushed the dirt and leaves off, and looked up. The mother had already landed, and she was pressed flat over that single surviving egg with her whole body. Genuinely didn't see that coming, running into a cuckoo doing the swap the nest thing. What I really didn't expect was that the mother would figure it out. That means this adult kite is smart. A lot of small birds aren't. The cuckoo chick gets bigger than they are, and they just keep feeding it. It's exhausting to watch. This one could tell. I memorized the tree's coordinates. Easier to come back that way. Come back in winter. Check on the tiger. Check on the kite. Spring, that bird flies to the farm. To me. A hawk that belongs to the farm. Just think about how that looks. And black kites are numerous. No protected status. If it flies to me voluntarily, I can absolutely keep it. The farm's own dark night. I left very satisfied. And back at the nest, the father came home with a mouse in his beak, and the mother started shrieking the entire story at him. Birds mostly raise young as a pair. Better odds that way. He didn't understand any of it either, but at least one seedling survived. And while the 2 of them were still agitated, something moved under the mother's belly. She stood up, and there were cracks across the shell. They spread. The top broke open, and a bald, blind little kite got its head out, and, eyes still shut, opened its beak and demanded food. And both parents scrambled. Your own kid does look better. That family has a busy few months ahead. Meanwhile, I had important business. I had to find the Siberian golden-shaded cat. Look, in a mountain forest that size, the odds of finding one specific tiger are basically 0. And there is no person alive who wants to meet a tiger out here. I came in specifically to look for one. That's just nerve. I picked up the pace and hit a cliff, a slab of rock jutting way out over the drop like a diving board. I walked out onto it, took out the binoculars, and looked down. Trees everywhere, packed tight. But it was autumn. The canopy had opened up, so you could see between them. Where'd the big girl get to? What's old Chen looking at? Let me see too. Jungle Scout, old shoe. 2 months ago, every person in that chat was screaming at me to run. Now, I'm standing on a rock, glassing an entire valley trying to find her, and the only complaint is that they can't see what I see. Ask me again when I find out how the king of the forest sleeps when nothing in the world is hunting her. This is so professional. Mountain runners carry binoculars? That's just how he is, super professional. I wasn't holding out much hope. And then I found her. The big fat girl was lying spread-eagled on a bed of fallen leaves, asleep. Wild tigers sleep wild, flat on the back, hind legs splayed, front legs thrown open, just like that, in the open. Think about what that means. Every animal in that forest lives carefully, every one of them. The only time any of them relaxes, even slightly, is inside its own den. Sleeping in an open clearing is not possible. You do that, you die. Tigers are different. She sleeps in the open, on her back, like the entire forest belongs to her. Which it does. The entire forest is her house. Nothing out there dares. So she sleeps like that, and it's fine. Found her. She's actually here, sleeping like a rock. Found what? The tiger? I found this mountain's Siberian tiger, the one I gave the bottle to. She's asleep. I'm going down to see her. The room stopped. No, actually? You're actually going? I'm begging you, stop courting death. I have never seen a streamer this suicidal. Going to look for a Siberian tiger on purpose? This streamer is that brave? Are you sure it's the same one? What if you've got the wrong tiger? Wrong tiger, it's all over. They don't know about the good person card, so none of my behavior makes sense to them. She isn't dangerous to me, at all. Wrong tiger would be a different conversation. But my eyes are good. That's her, the one the tigress abandoned, the one that raised itself. I can tell tigers apart. Most people can't. So I went down, climbing straight down the rock face where it was faster since I wasn't carrying the basket today. Half an hour later, I walked into her clearing. Still there. Still in that absolutely careless pose. Look over there. Sleeping Siberian tiger, right there. Also, the largest cat in the world. The drone panned over. And 100,000. People cracked up. Ha ha ha! This enormous tiger sleeps exactly like my cat. That's too cute. Don't let it fool you. It'll eat a man without hesitating. Ha ha ha! That in the deep mountains? It's not afraid of other animals? Oh, it really isn't. The king of the forest's exclusive sense of relaxation. That last one is exactly right, by the way. A leopard sleeps on its belly. Always. Ready to run at any instant because tigers and lions eat leopards. Tigers and lions, in their own territory, sleep however they want. So I strolled over, and the room seized up again. Because the shot is deep, old-growth forest, a tiger asleep on the leaves, and a human being who does not fear death. An AI couldn't draw this. She was asleep, but a tiger's hearing doesn't sleep. She caught the noise and snapped awake instantly, and in one motion rolled and dropped into a crouch. That hunting instinct is genuinely something to watch. Then she saw it was me, and the alert went out of her eyes, and she got up and started walking over. So I decided to be a little bit of a jerk. Uh-oh. Wrong tiger. The chat went white. Kidding, it's the right tiger. The chat did not think this was funny, but she was coming, and everybody tensed. She stopped in front of me, and then gave a little hop and put both enormous front paws on my shoulders. A tiger standing up is taller than a man, by about half a tiger head. Next to her, a human body just looks small. And to the 100,000 people watching, that looks exactly like a kill. Nobody breathed. But she was just holding on to me. And then she started rubbing her big head against my face. And there is a lot of weight behind that. I lost my footing and went straight down onto my back. And she came down on top of me and kept rubbing. That's a tiger being affectionate. I want you to hold two pictures at the same time. The first is a 4-month-old cub with a broken front paw, alone in a Changbai winter, in snow so deep the rangers couldn't drive in, and 2 men on foot searching for 2 days and going home and writing her off as dead. The second is this: 300 kilos of the most complete predator in the northern hemisphere, in the middle of her own kingdom, where nothing that lives dares touch her, knocking a man over because she got excited to see him, and pinning him down to rub her face on his. She survived without any of us, and she still came running. Ask me again when winter comes back around. I'm going to jump a long way forward now, because I need you to be standing in the right place when this lands. Siberia. Deep in the uninhabited zone, walking out of forest into open wasteland. Every time the drone turned, the chat's heart rate went with it, that feeling that something is about to come out of the empty ground beside you. I'm careful, but I also have danger perception, and I have a life-saving card, so relatively safe. Today's target was a secret base. Siberia is full of them. Some are POW camps. Some are bases the Tsars left behind. Some of them nobody can identify at all. This is permafrost country. It's hot right now, so the ice and snow have melted. That's why so much of it is bog. Temperature drops, all of this freezes solid. 80% of the world's mammoth remains have been found in Siberian permafrost. It is genuinely cold here. And then I heard something. A call. And I knew it. I honestly didn't believe it, but I looked up, and there was a black shape circling above me, coming down in loops. Is that the black kite? Out here? No, hold on. It found me. Raptors range enormously. Black kites are no exception. It had flown all the way up over Siberia hunting, and it saw me. So it came straight down to say hello. I put my hand up, and it landed. My old followers know that bird. They thought it was nice. A bit surprising, sure. The foreigners watching my stream lost their minds. He waved his hand and a bird of prey came down? He's that strong? Back in the village, Sergey and a few of the local young guys were watching too. They sat there blinking at it. Truly, the mysterious Chinese master. This man is the real thing. I rubbed the kite's head and my mood went straight up. I want to say the quiet part. That is the egg. That is the last egg in a nest that a cuckoo chick spent a morning rolling over the edge one at a time. That egg was minutes from the ground. A late birth going into a Changbai winter, which I said out loud at the time was not going to be easy for you. I climbed a tree once and put it back, and it grew up and learned to fly and learned to hunt, and one day it drifted north, over a border, over a wasteland with no people in it for tens of kilometers, and spotted one man down there in all that emptiness. And it broke off its hunt and came down in circles to land on my hand. I have never once called that bird. It doesn't live with me. It owes me nothing. It just checked. Half an hour deeper and I saw a cluster of low buildings. Binoculars, flat houses. People lived here. What is that? There really is a secret base? Hold on. He actually found ruins in Siberia? What is that? Please don't be a ghost village. Somewhere this desolate has houses? Nobody for tens of kilometers in any direction. Just one abandoned settlement. Anyone willing to walk into that is not normal. I walked in. It's a dead village. Earth walls. Most of it collapsed. At least 3/4 of the roofs are gone. Not many houses. It looks grim. It's a ruined village. No idea how old. Looks old though. Probably been a long time. I found one intact house and walked in. Old shoe, aren't you afraid this is a ghost village? Look, you going alone into primeval forest, fine, whatever. You going alone into this village? I concede. I fully concede. Don't let something attach to you. There's definitely something wrong with a place like this. Old Chen, don't touch it. A lot of people believe in that stuff, that's clear. I'm calm about it. I like the auspicious things. Worshipping the mountain, welcoming the god of wealth, purely because it's festive. The negative half I've never believed in. And if you don't believe in it, it can't touch you. The village was empty. Nothing in it. Even the rooms were clean. Of course they were. After this many years, people have definitely been here. Anything worth taking was scraped out a long time ago. Just earth walls left. No telling what era. Nobody needs to be scared. It's a ruined village. There's nothing here. Places like this are usually pretty safe. If it weren't so early, I'd want to spend the night here. Bit more comfortable. And the chat did not know what to do with that. Spend the night? Here? You'd be scared to death. Pitch black, can't see a thing. What if the original owner comes to find you? Better off sleeping in the open. Which is fair enough. The unknown is always scarier. I wandered around, got bored, and moved on, checking the treasure map now and then, looking at the horizon. Ask me again when the map runs out of places to point. Back home, though, let me tell you about the day my cat lost a fight to a persimmon. The dried persimmons had come out shockingly good, soft, chewy, properly sweet, not a trace of sourness. I was eating one when Sang Biao appeared, sat down in front of me. Wrapped his tail neatly around his paws, and looked up at me. I knew exactly what this was. A couple of days back, while the persimmons were drying, I'd told him to watch them. Don't let the sparrows wreck them. Do a good job, you get a persimmon. He was here to collect. Sang Biao and I get along. We understand each other. For a long time, that cat has carried a certain "it's lonely at the top" energy. In his estimation, his combat power is the highest, his intelligence is the highest, and he is essentially the king of this world. Granted, this world is currently one village across. Doesn't stop him. Then he met me, and in his heart, he acknowledged that I am also a strong one. That is an enormous honor. I just think he's cute and good at mice. So I held one out, and he opened his mouth very wide and bit down gently, and both upper fangs sank into the persimmon and would not come out. The persimmon was now stuck in his mouth. He tried opening wider. No. He started to panic, shaking his head, then his whole body, whipping around. How did you get stuck? I crouched, took hold of his head, pinned the persimmon, and pulled his fangs free. The instant he was loose, he retreated several steps and stared at that persimmon with deep suspicion. That thing is sinister. It nearly killed him. And since I obviously wasn't going to eat it now, I tossed it to him. Plap. It arced over and landed in front of him. And Sang Biao did a standing vertical jump, went flying backwards through the air, landed, spun, and left at speed. I was left blinking. Huh? Sang Biao, you're the cat boss of this entire village. You're scared of a persimmon? No response. Just tiny rapid steps getting out of there. He does not consider himself scared of the persimmon. He simply does not wish to have dealings with the persimmon. He is still the strongest. And then Little Black, who had been tracking this whole situation, rocketed in, grabbed the persimmon, chewed it twice, and it was gone. Fast, that dog. Life is pretty relaxed. Nothing big lately. I mostly research food. Although I probably should get out and travel because people's expectations of me are enormous now. That does put a little pressure on me sometimes. Being liked always comes with pressure. Case in point. I posted one video of persimmons drying and a wave of people went off and did it too, which is funny. So, farm's quiet, let's go find treasure. That night, I played some games, brushed my teeth, and went to bed. Outside the farm, in the dark, there was a rustling. 2 wolves came through the front gate and slipped onto my property. Wolves range widely, especially at night. Near dawn, they'll head back into the deep mountains to rest, which the dogs and Little Wolf noticed immediately. They shot out and squared up. Little Black and the manhwa started barking warnings. The 2 wolves meant no harm. They saw my animals come out and immediately backed off. I heard it and got straight up, threw a coat on, and went out. Dogs barking means something. The farm's remote, no neighbors. Wild animals turning up is entirely plausible. So I took the spear in my hand. Zhao Zilong's model. Your average beast genuinely cannot handle it. And when I got outside, there they were, 2 wolves, past the fence, staring coldly in. Wolves? Ah, hell. Wolves around here is not good. They will absolutely take a cat or a chicken. That's not exotic. Coyotes hunt cats. It's ordinary. And a large pack will hit a sheep ranch. That's the thing about this place that the chat never quite gets, because they only see the version where a bear brings me honey. I keep a spear by the bed. Ask me again when I find out what the wolves actually came for. I scanned the tree line. No sign of any others. What's the deal here? and gradually I worked out the detail. Those two wolves weren't looking at my chickens. They were both looking at Little Wolf. Little Wolf, do you know these two? Little Wolf looked confused. No? So they came for you? I genuinely didn't get it. And Little Wolf stood there looking at them. And this was the second time in his life he'd ever encountered his own species. The first time was also these two. He's smart. And he was working out in real time that these are what he actually is. Then he looked over at Little Black and Ingot, and he understood, finally, why his two big brothers never grew. Turns out they're not the same species. He didn't mind. Life on the farm is good. He loves following me around. He loves messing about with Little Black. So he had no particular opinion on the two wolves. And the wolves worked out that I was not somebody to provoke, and turned and ran and were gone. Strange. Little Black, if they come back in, remember to bark. And I took my spear and went back to bed. Deep night, and Little Wolf heard something. He was awake instantly, howling, distant, and something in him lit up, something he didn't have a name for, and he wanted to howl back. So he got up and walked out of the farm on his own. Little Black and Ingot heard none of it, both dead asleep. They didn't notice him go. He ran out into the open wasteland past the fence, bare ground, deep grass, gullies everywhere, black dark. And there they were. And the second they saw he was alone, both of them came running, looking, if anything, thrilled. He could tell they meant no harm, and even if they did, it wouldn't matter. He's bigger than both of them, stronger too. He's quite confident about this. They came up close and greeted him, and then closer. And those eyes that had looked so cold through my fence an hour ago were now doing something completely different, something ingratiating, almost fawning, ears going flat back, which left Little Wolf baffled, because that's what he does, at me. And they got closer and started rubbing up against him over and over. And Little Wolf, a pure-hearted young male wolf, has never encountered anything like this in his life. He has been a good boy since the day he was born. What are you two doing? He asked this with genuine confusion, aware that his body was behaving oddly. The wolves got more enthusiastic, kept rubbing their heads against his, and Little Wolf gradually concluded that this was, actually, quite nice. His physical condition has always been excellent, and then, out in the pitch-black wasteland, certain things occurred that will not be described. Next morning, I was up early to take the dogs running. Countryside at dawn is wide open. The air is incredible, perfect for it. I called twice. Little Wolf stayed in the kennel. No response. Little Black and the Malinois were already up and ready. Little Wolf? What's wrong? Didn't sleep well? I was concerned, and Little Black looked over at Little Wolf and produced a big, dumb grin. Because Little Black knows exactly what Little Wolf did. There are a lot of local dogs around this village, and Little Black is on the rougher end of that community. He went through all of this a long time ago. My farm dogs are, every last one of them, not as innocent as they look. They're just very well behaved in front of me. Little Wolf wagged his tail at me. I assumed he was unwell and told him to sleep in, and I took Little Black and Ingot out to run around the village. Another beautiful day. Today, go see the leopard family. Tomorrow, go see the tiger family. And then it's about time to go make something happen out there. I ran 3 kilometers at dawn, feeling sorry for my wolf, who I believed was poorly. Ask me again when the compass points somewhere I can't walk to. The compass sent me down into a pit. Big space inside, but closed off, walls all around. Wild fruit trees growing in there, covered in small berries. Genuinely an excellent place. Perfect, in fact, for red pandas, which have 0 defensive ability. Whether they live or die is entirely up to what nature decides to do to them. The drone came down after me, and a ludicrously cute red panda dropped out of a tree, ran across the ground, and stopped right at my feet. And then stood there scanning the tree line, alert. Look over there, red panda! Oh my god, it's so cute! There are red pandas here? Are they wild? When do I get to have one? Old Chen, you're keeping a red panda now? You know that's illegal, right? I hadn't expected to meet one immediately. Probably the mission doing it. And it is adorable. The 4 round, fluffy paws and an enormous soft tail. Let me state in advance that I have no relationship whatsoever with this red panda. It approached me. Look carefully, though. It seems to be hiding from something. Otherwise, it wouldn't be this frightened. And the chat spotted it too. Its body was tight. Its face was panicked. Something terrible is in here. So I picked the little guy up. My read is that this natural pit is where the red pandas live. It's big enough, plenty of room. But right now, something has gotten in. No idea what. I have a system mission, so I already know there's a predator here. I just don't know what. And the red panda let me hold it. No resistance at all. Just kept watching the trees. It isn't afraid of me. It is extremely afraid of whatever came in. In a wuxia novel, this would be the bit where bandits are slaughtering a village and the protagonist walks in. It's terrified. Barring surprises, there's an intruder in here. I searched, holding the panda. I didn't find the intruder. I found another red panda, or what was left of it. It had been eaten clean. A tragedy is already underway in here, and without outside intervention, the ending for these animals is certain. That's a red panda's body. Oh my God, what happened? Who did this? That's horrible. Isn't this just nature? Red pandas have no defenses at all. Of course something eats them. There are mountains on all four sides. Where would a predator even come from? Like kept looking. My eyesight is good, and I found it. And in one glance, my expression changed, and I pulled out a telescopic baton. Because the thing that came down was a leopard. An actual leopard. I'd assumed lynx, maybe clouded leopard. Not this. This is dangerous. Because my entire mental model of leopards is currently Little Flower's family, a leopard is a large, affectionate animal that hands me its children and goes on dates. And now here's one with murder in its face, and I went straight to alert. Old shoe? What's wrong? What did you find? Then the drone turned, and a vicious leopard's head rose into frame. Holy, a leopard! The real thing! National first-class protected animal. Well-proportioned. Powerfully built. It had already seen me. It bared its fangs and started a low, rolling growl. To a leopard, this pit is small. It has decided this place is its territory. So when it sees me intruding, it gets alert, and it wants to drive me out. The chat seized. I looked at it calmly, working out what came next. Because this mission is hard. Getting a leopard out of a bowl in the side of a mountain is not a normal difficulty level. Which means, at minimum, I have to beat it. And a cat's attack is enormous, and the speed is worse. Hand to hand, you are going to get hurt. I want to point out what's happening in this frame. I'm holding a red panda that ran to me because it correctly identified me as the safest thing in its world. There's a half-eaten one of its family on the ground behind me. And I'm a man with a stick. Every other animal in this story came to me after somebody else's disaster. The tiger after her mother, the leopard cub after his mother left, the kite after the cuckoo, the foxes after the winter. This is the first time I've arrived during. Ask me again when I find out whether the stick is enough. And a human being, in a fight, always tries to win completely, which is exactly what ties your hands. It came down out of the trees slowly, eyes locked on me, the threat in its face getting clearer by the second. Everyone watching could see it was loaded and ready. This leopard is vicious. My Little Flower is never like this, I said it calmly. Little Flower is an outlier among leopards. Big, dopey eyes, adorable, not a trace of ferocity. He barely hunts. He has none of a predator's authority. He's just a large cat. This one is as vicious as they come. It kept coming, growling low. I was fine. The red panda in my arms was not. It panicked, scrambled free, and fled, tail whipping. These little things are terrified. And there are more of them in these trees, all of them hiding in tree hollows, not daring to come out. The leopard has filled this entire place with fear, and it kept advancing. And I just looked at it coldly and ran the math. Knife. I win 100% and I barely get hurt, but the leopard dies. Baton. I can drive it off, but my arm probably gets opened up by its claws, and then getting it out of here afterward is impossible. Killing a leopard to save the red pandas? I can't do that either. And I sighed, because there's no way around it. I have to save the leopard and the red pandas. So I shut the stream off and used the good person card. That card is my whole card. I've been saving it to stay alive, but used is used. Worst case, I stay out of tiger and brown bear country for a while. I killed the feed because what came next is not explainable. Meanwhile, 100,000 people were staring at a black screen. What? What happened? It was just getting good and it cut out? Is old Chen dead? Old Shu, don't you die out there. Some of them had already started burning incense for me. And what actually happened is that the card went off, and the leopard's whole face went clear and gentle, and every intention of attacking me evaporated. Expression still cold, though, not cute like Little Flower. Leopards have a looks spectrum. Little Flower is at the top of it. This one is less. Still a big cat, obviously. Still adorable by default. And it walked up to me, and I rubbed its head. All right, I know. You fell down here. You're stuck. And by the look of you, you want out. A space this small, being trapped in here would kill you. And once you've finished eating them, you'd starve to death in here anyway. I'll take you out. There it is. There was never an intruder. There was never a villain. There's a leopard that fell into a hole it cannot climb out of and has been eating the only food in the hole, and the food is running out. And when it does, the leopard dies in there too. It wasn't slaughtering a village, it was drowning. Every animal in this story is the same animal. The tiger her mother left in the snow. The cub in the egg the cuckoo was rolling out. The foxes in the winter. This thing, in this pit, eating its way toward its own death because the walls are too high. Nobody out here is evil. They're all just stuck. Which left the actual hard part of the mission, getting a leopard out of a pit. Thankfully, I have a lot of items. In case it changed its mind halfway, I took out the medical kit I'd won as a reward, drew up an anesthetic, and put it straight into the leopard. It didn't see it coming, so it didn't resist. By the time it registered anything, it was already swaying, and then it was down. And then, the hard part. I roped the leopard onto my back, went to the spot I'd descended, took hold of the climbing line, and started up. This is genuinely absurd. I'm in the Himalayas climbing a mountain with a leopard on my back. Nobody would believe this. And I can't even stream it or the police would want a word. Better if only I know. I've been through a lot at this point, and I still think this is ridiculous. But the mission is the mission. Between the card and the anesthetic, it went off without incident. Clearly, I need to stockpile more items. You never know when one turns out to be exactly right. My conditioning is excellent, so carrying a leopard up a rock face was no problem. I got out, laid the leopard down beside a tree, and finally exhaled. Done. I could have called a rescue team, but I'm worried about this place being found. It would put the red pandas at risk. There's no guarantee there isn't a bad actor on a rescue team. Better this way. Only I know where this is. This pit stays a hidden paradise for them. They've had a hard enough time staying alive. Let them live here in peace. Then I leaned against the tree, rested a bit, and gave the leopard the anesthetic reversal. System products, they work extremely well. And it woke up. I want to be clear about the ledger here. I spent my only whole card, the thing standing between me and the next tiger that isn't friendly, on a leopard that was trying to kill me. I carried it up a cliff on my back. I turned off the single most valuable live stream of my career on purpose at its peak and took the loss. And then I hid the location from the authorities and told nobody. Nobody watched any of that. That's the part I keep coming back to. The whole planet watches me pet a tiger. Nobody saw this. Ask me again when I find out what a leopard does when it wakes up outside the hole. By this point, the missions had gotten large. I'd spent 10 days walking with a herd of elephants, an actual rare grade mission, start to finish, escorting them to where they were going. Rare mission complete. Reward, passive skills, strength up, stamina up. Skill, charge. Item, elephant underpants. 2 of those 3 are extremely practical. Strength and stamina are not things you build overnight. Any boost makes my whole body better. We're not discussing the third one. When it was done, I waved goodbye to the herd, and they seemed to understand. The calf didn't want me to go. It came running over and started circling me. I rubbed its head and left, laughing. and they stood there watching me walk away with something in their eyes that I'm not going to try to name. I've been with these elephants a long time, no idea where they're headed. I've bought things at the farm, time to go home. When I've got time, I'll come see them again. Home, and the weather was warming, so the farm got busy. I did my rounds and got to the pig pen, and there were 50 or 60 in there, nearly out of room. Feels like there are more pigs. Farm manager, the piglets grew fast. We got a lot of them last year, sold some off, and this is what's left. We could carry a few dozen more, no problem. This is good, hold it here. The smell is already getting big, can't take more. Livestock operations usually have a towering stink to them. The air goes thick. I don't want that. The goose house and the sheep pen were lively too, and wandering through, I saw 8, the one-legged goose, and he looked depressed, genuinely, not accepted by his own kind, and when that's your life is painful. And I had nothing on, and by my count, the migratory bird should be back about now, so I decided to take him to Swan Lake. Might as well. Stream it. Next morning, I got in the off-roader and drove out into the wild country. Brought Little Black, the Malinois, and Little Wolf along, let them get some air. The husky flatly refuses to leave. Loves running around inside the farm, gets visibly resistant the second you approach the gate. So we leave her. I know this region exactly. Every lake, every shallow. I know where all of it is. We drove out through empty country and parked at the foot of a mountain. I want to explain what this trip is, because on paper, it's a man driving a goose somewhere. 8 has one leg. Geese are flock animals, and a flock knows what a weak bird looks like, and the entire architecture of their society is built to push that bird to the edge, because in the wild, that's the one that draws the fox. So he stands slightly apart, on his one leg, near a group that will not let him in. Every day. In a goose house, he cannot leave. He isn't injured. There's nothing to treat. There's no rescue to perform. He's just alone, permanently, for a reason that is nobody's fault and cannot be fixed by anything I own. And the man with the treasure compass and the tiger and the leopard and the hawk that finds him in Siberia looked at that and could not think of a single item in his inventory that would help. So he put the goose in a car and drove him 2 hours into the mountains to find different birds. Ask me again when I find out whether the swans take him. Road ran out, so we walked. Stream title, daily outing. Wandering around with the dogs, me in front, dog, wolf, and goose walking beside me. Little Black and the Malinois were wired, running loops. Little Wolf was much calmer, just keeping pace. Little Wolf is magnificent now, tall, powerfully built, genuinely imposing. Canids top out at Wolf, and he's bigger than either dog, with a better personality than either of them. Sometimes, when the local dog gang walks past the front gate, Little Black deliberately brings Little Wolf out for a cameo, just to establish his standing. The gang takes one look and relocates. That size is not something they can afford to provoke. And 8 came along swaying his backside, one step at a time, moving fast, looking around constantly, excited. He wasn't depressed anymore. Old Chen finally gets a relaxing day. Ha ha ha. He works so hard every time, it's rough. Today's stream is exactly my flavor. This is nice. Why is there a goose? Is that Little Wolf's lunch? Taking the little ones out for a walk today. This season, the migratory birds are back. Swans, red-crowned cranes, they're all in this area. See this goose by my foot? His name is 8. Some of you know him. This guy grew up with red-crowned cranes, so he thinks he's a red-crowned crane, which is why he's never comfortable with the goose flock. I want to release him. See what he does when he meets an actual swan. There it is. He isn't being bullied. Nobody rejected him. He grew up beside cranes, those enormous, elegant, deliberate birds, and he imprinted, and he has spent his entire life certain that he is one of them. And then he got put in a goose house. He's not standing apart from that flock because they won't have him. He's standing apart because, in his own mind, he is not a goose, and he cannot understand what these loud, stupid, waddling creatures want from him. That's the one-legged goose, right? I remember him. That's the one. I thought he was so dumb back then, just standing there being stupid. That goose is genuinely, adorably stupid. We walked on. The dogs were delighted, chasing each other. Little Wolf strolled with the wind moving through his coat, looking wild and elegant. That wolf really is something. Handsome and fierce. He's the farm's general, outranking Little Black, the sword-bearing guard, and Sang Biao, the chamberlain of the inner palace. Half an hour later, a big pond opened up in front of us, reeds all through it, and there were swans on it, and mandarin ducks, and a few ducks I couldn't name. Big water. Plenty of room to live. I found a rise and sat down, and Little Black eyed the swans and started thinking about charging. Not to bite them, purely to run at them so that all the swans go up at once, and then stand there with a big dumb grin. Dogs are like that. Occasionally, they're just jerks. He was smiling, tail going fast. The expression on his face was, precisely, just thinking about what I'm about to do is making me laugh. I saw straight through him. Little Black, don't. Sit here. He turned his head and sat down. The Malinois and the wolf flopped down beside him. And Eight was looking at the swans, and his eyes lit up, and he started swaying toward them, step by step. Swans are beautiful, elegant, weightless, carrying a specific kind of grace. There's a reason somebody wrote a ballet about them. And Eight, evidently, has an artistic soul. He likes this. Something in him was pulled, and he went straight for the water. This guy is genuinely remarkable. I've raised a lot of geese. I've never seen one like this. An animal with spirit in it? You don't eat that one. Let him go live by the lake. It suits him better. You're not going to eat a goose that fat? Iron pot stewed? That's delicious. Now you've got me wanting goose. Decided. Roast goose tonight. Goose isn't that good. Roast duck is better. 100,000 people watched a one-legged bird walk toward the only creatures on Earth he's ever believed he belonged with, and used the moment to argue about recipes. I drove that goose 2 hours so he could stand next to something tall and white and graceful, and finally be, in his own head, correct. Ask me again when the birds fly back for winter. Let me tell you about the day I went to a panda base as a tourist and accidentally stole the show from the pandas. The enclosure got chaotic. Because the tourists were there to look at giant pandas, and 3 giant pandas had gathered together to look at me. The pandas are looking at that guy. They actually are. What's going on? Isn't that the mountain foraging farm owner? The one with the leopard? It is him, the big influencer. Phones came out everywhere. Because the pandas were acting like they knew me, interacting through the fence, I noticed the commotion, didn't make a thing of it, and just waved at them. And the pandas waved back. These are Rinjiaoban pandas, the human-taught edition. Raised by keepers from birth, so they're completely familiar with how humans behave. Every one of them absurdly cute. Meanwhile, the base's own staff were running an official live stream, because zoos all do this now. It's good publicity. What's happening over there? Looks like a big influencer showed up and pulled all the pandas over. Zhao Xin, running the stream, was startled. What? He pulled the pandas over? Isn't he supposed to pull the tourists over? Their room had maybe 500 people in it, who immediately started demanding she go look. So she lifted her phone and walked over. And there I was, on the official panda channel, with the pandas. I took 2 steps sideways across the open ground, and all 3 pandas watched me and moved sideways with me. There is no question about what was happening. They were tracking me, and the tourists were filming it like a performance. This is, once again, not explainable. The official room went 500 to 600 to 1,000 to 2,000 and then past 8,000. Isn't that old Chen? He's not streaming. Where is he? Why is he on somebody else's stream? Are those pandas walking with him? How? What's happening? Pandas are this energetic? I thought they only slept and ate bamboo. Zhao Xin stared at her own viewer count in shock. Since when did they get numbers like this? She knew perfectly well it was because of me. But it's a stream inside the park, so she can absolutely surf it. I hung out with them a while, waved, and moved on through the base. Pandas really are great. Impossibly soft-looking. And they don't get ugly growing up, which is more than you can say for the rest of the family. A black bear grows up looking scruffy. A brown bear grows up looking terrifying. Pandas stay cute. The next area was the breeding center. Lots of cubs. Normally that's closed to visitors. Cub immunity is weak and outsiders carry germs. But today they had a group out. That center has over 200 pandas across several enclosures. It's enormous. Next enclosure, 5 pandas happily climbing trees. And one of them spotted me and came running. And then the rest did. By now, a crowd of tourists was following me around filming everything. And honestly, based on the evidence, I am rarer than the pandas. Look, the pandas are staring at him again. Old Chen has something on him. I propose we dissect him. 200 pandas in that facility. Every single one raised by humans, surrounded by humans, looking at humans through glass their whole lives. And they crossed the enclosure for one of them. Ask me again when somebody finally asks what's actually on me. Spring on Changbai, and I went up to dig wild vegetables, which is the most profoundly ordinary thing I do. The farm's little workshop had stabilized, 10 to 20,000 a month, not counting labor. The fresh cakes are the hit. People surround the stall the moment it opens. Anything the farm makes, people trust. So many places I want to go. I haven't even finished Changbai, and I've barely scratched the Qinling. And there are so many other famous mountains in this country. Whichever one I pick, there's a rare mission waiting and wildlife to run into. But the farm was busy, so local mountain, basket on my back, full foraging kit. Changbai in spring is covered in good things. So many wild greens you can't finish them. Everybody comes out to forage this time of year. You've got big neck stalk, northeast big pineapple, monkey leg, cat's paw, mountain pepper vine. They all taste good. Going to grab some greens today. Haven't had them in ages. I've been missing them. And the chat stalled. What are you saying? Big neck stalk? Northeast big pineapple? Monkey leg? Cat's paw? Are those names a human being came up with? They are, in fact, exactly what those plants are called, extremely down to earth. Big neck stalk is a longish green that's incredibly watery. You can pull it and eat it on the spot. Proper name, umbrella leaf. Northeast big pineapple is a pine cone. It grows in the tree. There are pine nuts in it. Monkey leg is a bracken fern, and Changbai is full of it. Cat's paw is just the actual name. It's also a medicine. There are so many wild greens on this mountain. People eat them all spring. Cold-dressed or stir-fried, they're remarkably good. Tender, fresh. Every region has its thing. Yunnan eats mushrooms. The Northeast eats greens. So I wandered around looking, passing other villagers doing the same. It's everywhere. Somewhere this heavily used by people has fewer wild animals relatively. Plenty of birds and insects, though. Found a big patch of monkey leg, crouched down and started picking. I'm the same on camera as off. No performance. Whatever needs doing, I do. When I'm digging greens, I don't say much. People drop in, watch a while, chat a bit, and find it novel. Look at this, huge patch of monkey leg. I'll take extra, send some to my parents. Been too long, I want to taste spring again. And while I was down there, a roe deer appeared behind me. Roe deer are relentlessly curious, and this one is the kind that isn't scared of people. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on this mountain at all. A lot of them aren't. In winter, they walk into the village and openly demand food. A few came to my farm last winter. I didn't notice. The drone did. It swung around and put the silly roe deer on camera. There's a roe deer! The sacred beast of the Northeast has arrived. Ha ha ha, why is it sneaking? Here's what I love about this. A tiger knocks me over. A leopard hands me its kids. A hawk finds me in Siberia, and a roe deer, an animal so famously dim that the entire Northeast calls it a sacred beast as a joke, has independently worked out that following this guy means snacks. It didn't come for rescue. It's not injured or trapped or abandoned. It just noticed something and made a plan. Ask me again when the silly one works out. I'm holding a basket. Let me jump to the end, more or less, because by now the shape of my life had settled. I got back from the Tarim and took a couple of days off. First thing I noticed, the cabbages had broken ground. Fast, too. They're the giant variety. Nobody else can see it yet, but I can already tell they're going to be spectacular. Little Black went straight to the fields to find the foxes, because he desperately wanted to tell them about the plateau, about the Tibetan foxes up there, so ugly cute they could be these kits' homeroom teacher. Unfortunately, animals can't talk, and the kits had no idea what he was on about. So they just went ying, ying, ying and pretended to follow. The rest of the dogs mobbed me the second I was through the gate. A few quiet days, wander the farm, go back into the city and check on the kid, because my wife is pregnant and I should be with her properly. do my actual duty. There's a lot of noise about me online. My habit hasn't changed. The second a stream ends, I vanish. Apart from occasionally posting a farm video, I do nothing. Everybody finds this bizarre. Not just viewers, other creators find it bizarre. Because every streamer alive is killing themselves for effect. Maximum self-display, every day, chasing traffic. Or running a whole team, dragging in crowds. Only this guy is different. He streams like he just enjoys streaming. Which is true. And honestly, I now think my traffic is too big. It started affecting my actual life. There are media people hanging around outside my farm semi-permanently. I barely walk out anymore. I drive, both ways. The invitations never stop. Whole adventure variety shows. I turn down all of it. I have a clear understanding of the life I like. That afternoon, I brought my wife out to the farm. We don't live here, but daytime visits are fine. She's not far along. She's in good shape. Weather was beautiful, so I dragged out the big wash tub to give the dogs a bath. Non-negotiable. They run through everything all day. They need doing regularly. And every single time, the husky is the problem. She sees the tub and runs. I have to deploy Little Wolf and Little Black to bring her back. That is a real sentence about my real life. I keep a wolf partly for husky retrieval. Bath day is genuinely funny. Pet shampoo in the tub, dog goes in, and instantly there is an unreasonable amount of foam. Usually the staff do it. Today I had nothing on, so I did it myself, brush in hand, one dog at a time. They're hard to wash though. Little Wolf, Bullet, and the husky are all large dogs. Little Black, Ingot, you two stop growing. Honestly, smaller is better. The staff saw me working and came straight over. Farm manager, want a hand? 5 dogs in one go, that's tiring. Don't need help washing. Grab the hose and put some water in this tub. When I finish one, you rinse it. Get the temperature right, don't make it cold. You got it. So we ran a line. I scrubbed, Wang Wu rinsed. Wash one, rinse one. And since it was bath day anyway, I did the Maine Coon and the raccoon too. That raccoon is fastidious. He loves baths, which is probably the thing I'm most relieved about in my entire life. Because raccoons abroad are famous for climbing into bins and stealing food and generally looking shifty. Mine's clean. Then Ma Wen and Zhang Hao came out with hair dryers. Full service. That's the whole picture, really. The man who carried a leopard up a Himalayan cliff on his back, who a hawk finds in the middle of Siberia, who giant pandas cross an enclosure for, is standing in a yard in the sun with a brush, arguing with a husky, while 3 employees run a rinse and blow-dry line, and his pregnant wife watches. Ask me again when the cat comes back smelling wrong. I just finished the Maine Coon when I spotted Sang Biao in the middle distance. Sang Biao! Come here, bath time. He turned his head, he looked at the tub, and he visibly hesitated. Because as a cold, merciless killer, the cat boss of an entire village, the smell on him is his power. It's the symbol of his standing. It's his instrument for conquering the local females. How could he possibly wash that off? Come on, one bath, water's warm, it's lovely. My wife was watching this and cracking up. Will he actually come? He doesn't look like he wants to. New washed him before. Want to try? And Sang Biao hesitated for a long moment. And then, like a cat who had resolved something, he started walking toward me, one step at a time. He's coming! I ran fresh warm water. I got the temperature exactly right, lifted him in, wet him down, and lathered him up. And the handsome tabby was instantly covered in white foam. He's so cute, my wife said, laughing, taking close-ups on her phone. And Sang Biao sat there with the corner of his mouth curled in faint disgust, one eye squeezed shut, a single upper fang showing, looking distinctly unhappy. I didn't care. I washed everything. He's a feral cat. He's filthy. The water came out gray. Took 2 rounds to get him clean. Rinse, hairdryer, and what came out the other end was a clean, fluffed, genuinely handsome tabby. And he could feel it, body lighter, a kind of radiance to him. But that strange, sweet smell made him deeply uncomfortable. My shampoo is the lightly scented kind. Smells great. Perfect for hugging a cat afterward. The cat does not share this view. So he left, slowly, to go about his business in the village. And when he got to the committee building, 2 of his lieutenants came over to greet him and stopped dead. This smell is wrong? Is this still our terrifying boss? Why does he smell nice? One of them stuck his head in and sniffed, curious, apparently trying to confirm the smell was really coming off Sang Biao. Sang Biao looked at him, flatly. Lieutenant, big brother, that smell is wrong. Where'd your commanding stink go? Sang Biao, say one more word and I will not be responsible. The lieutenant shut up immediately and stopped being curious. So all the animals were clean, and in the yard, my wife sat resting in a chair, and Little Black was sitting in front of her, quietly staring at her, like he could feel the life inside her. She called him over, and he came, and looked very carefully at her belly. He's looking at my stomach. Can he actually tell I'm pregnant? Honestly, hard to say. There are stories like that, but those are always several months along. You're barely 1. And Little Black was exceptionally quiet, and you could see it. Next to her, he was gentle. Every movement slowed down and softened. And the other dogs were the same. Settled. None of the usual chaos. It's like they really know. I found it fascinating. They're already getting ready to protect the little master. Once the kids walking to school and back, that's going to be lively. So that's where I'm leaving it. 2 years ago, I was standing on a road at the foot of Changbai Mountain, an unemployed graduate with a degree he wasn't using, planning to apply for a ranger job because it seemed like a way to stay near the trees. And a voice bound me to a system whose entire business model is, go outside and let people watch. I want to be clear about what it never once asked me to do. It never asked me to kill anything. It never asked me to conquer anything. There is no war. There is no rival. In 2 years, the closest thing I have ever had to an enemy was a leopard in a hole, and the mission wasn't to beat it. The mission was to carry it out on my back. Every single reward that system ever put in front of me was the same reward, wearing different clothes. A hungry thing and something to give it. A bottle of goat milk. 1,000 points of my own fame converted into raw meat for a sable. A cracked egg put back. And the payout was never money. The payout was that the hungry thing stopped being afraid of me. So, there's a tiger on a nameless mountain who was left in the snow with a broken paw at 4 months old, written off as dead by the men who went looking, who raised herself through a Changbai winter and took a kingdom, and who knocks me flat on my back because she got excited. There's a leopard who hands me his children and goes on a date. There's a hawk that was minutes from being rolled out of a nest by a cuckoo, who found me in a Siberian wasteland, broke off a hunt, and came down to land on my hand. There's a fox who decided the safest place on this mountain to have her kits was next to the man who fed her once, last year. There's a bear who brings me honey with his face swollen shut. There's a goose who thinks he's a crane, standing by a lake with actual swans, finally correct. And there's a red panda in a hidden bowl in the Himalayas, alive, in a place whose coordinates I have told nobody, not the rescue teams, not the authorities, and certainly not the 100,000 people who pay my bills, because the only thing that could hurt it now is being found. I never tamed any of them. Not one of those animals is mine. Every one of them can walk away, into a forest I couldn't follow them into, at any moment. Most of them do. Then they come back. And the loudest chat on the internet has spent 2 years demanding to know what's on me, suggesting they dissect me to find it. It isn't a card. It isn't the compass. It's that I was the first one to offer, and I never once asked for it back. Ask me again when the kid's old enough to walk to school, because there is going to be a wolf waiting at that gate. Except I've left something out, and if I leave it out, you've got the wrong idea about all of this. So let me take you back to a wasteland, at dusk, on the first night of a trip. Campfire. And then, out of the deep country, howling. My face changed. Little Black's head came up. You have got to be kidding me. I get to run into this? I was on my feet immediately, scanning, working out what to do about a wolf pack. Because I'm not in a forest right now, which means I'm Spider-Man out of the city. I'm Jackie Chan away from the furniture store. None of my ability works out here. Streamer, don't joke around. This is for the show, right? Was that a wolf? No way, that's the wind. We misheard. We definitely misheard. And before they'd finished typing, "Ow, ow." Every face in that chat went white. It's real. Bare hills, not one tree. What do you do about wolves out here? My expression wasn't great either. First night in, and I pull this. Getting in the tent is useless. A wolf's nose is excellent. They'll come at the tent regardless. So I took Little Black and climbed. High ground is the only real answer. And my luck held, a 3-meter boulder. I picked up Little Black and threw him up onto it. He's quick, he landed cleanly. Then I backed up, ran, kicked off, and hauled myself up after him. Good thing there's a rock, we're safe. The wolves might not even come, but better hidden, just in case. Some luck, day 1 and I've got wasteland wolves. In a forest, wolves aren't that big a deal. Out here, it's different. Can't afford to provoke them. Old Chen's dog throwing technique was very practiced. Little Black flew so stably. What a duo. He should bring farm animals foraging more often. This is great. I calmed the dog down, got out the binoculars, couldn't see well, and just sent the drone instead. Let's see what's going on. Howling in the dark like that is genuinely frightening. Let's find out what these wolves are up to. Around a rise, on open ground, 9 wolves, working an antelope. It's fast, but the space it has left to run in was getting smaller. Because these wolves are smart, spreading out, slowly closing a ring around it. Holy, there really are wolves. Are they coordinating? That's brilliant. I can feel that antelope's despair from here. Old Shoe, go save it! A kilometer away, on a rock, flying a drone, I read that last one. And if I'd been in the mood, I'd have laughed. Save it? With what? And even if I could, in this situation, you do not interfere. Because this is not the same as an injured animal. An injured animal you help. The strong eating the weak, that you respect. The ring closed. The antelope panicked. Broke left, broke right, and the wolves were already at its face. And it had nothing left. So it gathered everything it had and jumped, trying to clear them over their heads. Life and death in one leap. Reality does not contain that many miracles. They'd been waiting for it. It had barely left the ground before 2 males drove in and took its legs. It went down. The rest came in. Not a sliver of hope. And the picture got bloody. And the stream cut to black, briefly banned by the platform. I took the hint and flew the drone home. That was terrifying. Surrounded by a pack, there's no running. They had tactics. They can encircle. That's horrifying. That antelope died so badly. And I was calm. Genuinely, I was relieved. It's fine. It's a small pack. I counted 9. It's not one of the 20 or 30 wolf packs. If it were one of those, I'd be leaving. I came out here for a walk. I'm not here to gamble my life. 9's manageable. I waited, then sent the drone back out to see where they'd go. By then, the antelope was gone. Just red-stained bone and hide. The wasteland had gone quiet. The howling had stopped. And I could see the pack moving off, away from me. So I picked up Little Black and jumped down. Pack's gone. I'm going to sleep. That was a bit hairy. But no real problem for now. Old Chen, you're still going to sleep here? The nerve on this man! I didn't think much of it. Told everyone I'd go live around 8 once the tent was packed, and we'd move out immediately. Then I killed the stream and took my dog into the tent. Out on the wasteland, the wind went woo, woo all night. It sounded awful. I slept soundly, not a trace of worry. And out on the open ground, a few vultures came down to the antelope to work on what was left. Some smaller things came in the dark. Everything got used. This is the part I need you to hold on to, because it's the actual rule of my life, and it looks like a contradiction. I have carried a leopard up a cliff on my back. I have climbed a tree to put an egg back. I have driven a goose 2 hours to a lake so he could stand near swans. And I sat on a rock and watched an antelope get taken apart with a drone in the air and 100,000 people screaming at me to do something. And I did nothing. Because a wolf pack is not cruelty. Those 9 were hungry, and they were good at their jobs, and in the morning the bones fed vultures. That's not a disaster. That's the mountain working. I only step in where something has gone wrong, where a mother made an arithmetic decision in the snow, where a cuckoo is rolling eggs off a branch, where a leopard is stuck in a pit, eating its way toward its own death. I don't save animals from nature. I save them from the parts of nature that leave things stranded. And the difference between those two things is the entire job. Get it wrong in either direction and you're not a ranger anymore. You're just a man with items, deciding who lives. I woke up rested, packed the tent, and went to go look at the bones. Ask me again when I find out what's left by morning. And I owe you the sable, because I never told you how that went. Mission: feed one hungry sable. A sable? Haven't seen one in ages. There are enormous numbers of animals in that forest, and almost none of them are easy to see. Their camouflage is extraordinary. They hide, and you simply never know. Sables come out more in winter because when everything's frozen, they can't find food, and so they come to where the humans are. There was a farmer in Heilongjiang who'd put raw meat in a basin every winter. He got 5 sables on camera at once. There's a police station that had sables turning up hungry, so the station started laying out chicken bones for them. Clearly, these things have worked out a new survival strategy. When winter is hungry, go find a human. And here's the part I love. The moment spring comes and the snow goes, every sable vanishes from human areas. Completely. They never need us again. They prefer the mountain. 20 minutes walk and I found the den, a hollow in a tree about fist-sized. Sables love tree hollows. They'll stick their heads out to watch things. And right then, the sable stuck its head out. Everyone, look at that hollow. There's a sable, also known as the do your whole sentence sable, a genuine first-class protected animal. You basically never see these. They used to be hunted relentlessly. The numbers collapsed. Back then, the 3 treasures of the Northeast were ginseng, sable fur, deer antler. Then the sable became first-class protected, 5 years minimum, and the numbers came back. Now the 3 treasures are ginseng, deer antler, and wula sedge. That nickname is the funniest thing in Chinese wildlife law, by the way. Do your whole sentence sable, as in, touch one and you will be doing the entire prison term. An animal so protected that its street name is a sentencing guideline. The drone locked on and the chat melted. Sables are, genuinely, the best-looking animal in the marten family. Great proportions, not stretched out and weaselly. Short, thick legs, so when they run, they look absurd. Their coat is outrageous. Winter snow means nothing to them. They'll work outside in the deep cold without noticing. It's been measured. Then one follicle grows 46 hairs. That's why they don't feel the cold. That's also why they got hunted. My God, another cute thing. Why is everything in that forest adorable? Watching old Chen's stream makes me want to own everything. 5 years minimum, 10 years maximum. You can keep martens, not sables, pet ferrets. They smell terrible though, don't recommend. It's genuinely cute. I moved to feed it, took 2 steps, and whip, the head vanished back into the hollow. Fast. I stood there blinking, then slowly turned and looked at the enormous leopard standing next to me. And Little Flower looked back at me with an expression of total innocence and confusion. Roughly, "What? Why are you looking at me?" I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Taking this guy along is a lot of fun. It also means no small animal will come anywhere near me. Ever. I had a first-class protected animal, one of the rarest things on this mountain, head out of the hole, ready to eat, minnow, and I brought my enormous predator son to the meeting. I've got some meat. I want to feed these sables. This time of year, food's only getting harder for them. Old Chen, just keep another protected animal. What's one more? That's the actual chapter title, by the way. That's what 100,000 people concluded. I'm going to have to think of something else. Ask me again when the leopard learns to wait in the car. And I should finish the stork, because that one had been living with me for weeks and the whole internet was following it. Some background. It turned up with a broken wing. Oriental white stork, first-class protected animal. The kind of bird where you call the police and the police come. They did. 3 of them, plus a deputy director, and everyone stood around the basket having the same thought, which is that a wing fracture handled badly means the bone sets wrong and the bird never flies again. I know some. Rescue technique. Simple work is no problem. Let me stabilize the wing. disinfect it, put some medicine on it. It'll heal faster. I've done this for a leopard before. So I did it on my own lawn while a policeman filmed it for the station's records and my own employee filmed it for the farm's channel, which is a good summary of my life, actually. Disinfect, set the bone, medicine, 2 splints, bandage. This is routine for me. The farm's at the foot of a mountain and I'm in it constantly. You run into hurt animals. If you can help, you help. The stork was stiff the whole time, but steady. No panic in its face at all. The rest of the farm handled it differently. Little Black and the Malinois crowded in to watch, because dogs always want to be where the people are. The black horse went to the far end of the pasture and watched from there. The little Sika deer stood a way off, didn't dare come closer, didn't run away either. The real problem was housing it. Owls and geese are easy, they're small. This bird is 1.2 meters tall. Nobody knew where to put it. Even the deputy director looks stuck, which is how it ended up living at my place. Weeks later, potato harvest. 4 of us working, sacks stacked in neat rows. That's got to be 8,000 jin an acre. I think it's more. Normal is 3,000, 5,000. Done well, you hit 8,000. Some places hit 10,000, though some of those used swelling agents, which makes an inferior potato. Black-hearted growers do it. Lower unit price, higher weight, more money. And there are buyers who will pass them off as normal. Every industry has its dark side. I don't touch it. Potatoes ripen, I call a legitimate buyer. I opened the stream during a lull. Stream title, Farm Potato Harvest, Daily Life. Got the potatoes in today. My colored potatoes finally matured. They came out excellent, big and thick. Yields high too, should sell well. Potatoes come in colors? Aren't they yellow? Those are potatoes? I thought they were radishes. Those things are huge. Then I walked over to show everyone the stork because people ask about it in my comments every single day. The wing's nearly healed. I'm taking the bandages and splints off in the next couple of days. Whether it flies away is up to it. It'll definitely go though, you can see it misses its own kind. And it's getting cold. If it doesn't leave soon, the migration gets harder. The weather had turned. A bird that likes warmth must have been freezing. I walked up to it and it showed no fear and made no attempt to move away. It's grown close to me. We've been together a while now. I felt along the break. Weeks of rest, the fracture had knitted. Not solid yet, but the splints could go. Healing well. Bird bones are light, so they come back fast. Might as well take the bandage off now. And I started unwrapping it. Old Chen, just keep the big bird. It's so beautiful. The whole farm looks more spiritual with it. Right? Keeping a bird like that would be so imposing. Is it really healed? Can it still make it south? What if you flew it south? Holy, great idea. We'll all send gifts to fund it. Old Chen, put it on a plane. I read that and just smiled. Flying a migratory bird south myself. It's genuinely an idea. Here's what I actually think about while I'm cutting a bandage off a bird that's been eating my food for a month. The chat wants me to keep it. Of course they do. It's magnificent, and it would look incredible on this farm. And it likes me. And every instinct I have agrees with them. That's the whole trap. Everything I've been given, the compass, the card, the items, the fame, makes it very, very easy to keep things. I could keep all of them. The tiger, the leopards, the kite, the sable if I'd been smarter about the leopard, the goose. They'd all stay. That's the horrible part. They'd all stay if I asked. So the only real skill in this entire job, the one the system never rewarded, the one there's no lottery for, is knowing that the wing is healed and the weather is turning and the flock is already leaving, and that a 1.2-meter bird standing in a northeastern farmyard in October is a beautiful photograph and a death sentence. Whether it flies away is up to it, but I'm going to make absolutely certain it can. Ask me again when it puts the wing out. The plane idea has one problem. Where would I take it? Nobody knows where its flock is. Migration routes are fixed, sure. It probably the Yangtze Basin, possibly the mountains further south. It could end up in Hainan. Let it fly itself. Bandage off. And the stork started beating its wings, testing what it had. Those wings are enormous. It's got real presence when it opens up. This bird is built like a red-crowned crane, that same otherworldly look. I assumed it would need to adjust, get used to things. Instead, it apparently decided the power was sufficient because it gave a light spring, caught itself on the air, and lifted off the ground. and then just flew forward, climbed, and went for the sky. It's flying! It's flying! It can actually fly! The chat detonated because they'd been carrying this bird for weeks. When it came in hurt, it looked so defeated, and everybody had been worried about it. I didn't expect it to just go. It's leaving. It's in a hurry to get back to its own kind. It's been 10 odd days. I don't know if it'll find its family. Time had gone fast. I'd been putting heating in the farm, minding the greenhouses, digging potatoes. I hadn't spent much time with it at all. And it healed anyway. And the instant the bandage was off, it was gone, heading south. And I thought that was good. Every animal has the life it likes. Living it its own way is what matters. Human help isn't always a good thing. And then a voice went off in my head. Oriental white stork's goodwill obtained. Reward, a Taiji jade pendant carved from Hotan jade. Jade carving, seal engraving, and inlay work. Exquisitely made. That caught me off guard, because I'd never gotten this bird's goodwill. Not once, the whole time. It stayed wary of me, and it arrived on the day it flew away. A round pendant, gold ring on the outside, black and white jade in the middle, held in gold. Genuinely beautiful. Hotan jade isn't especially expensive. This piece wins on craft, and the jade is good. Black and white, same as the stork. I stood there looking at the sky. It's gone to find its family. No idea what it'll go through on the way. I just hope it makes it. Their flying technique is excellent. They use thermals and glide. The wing's fine, and it'll be fully recovered as time goes on. And everyone in that chat prayed for it. The bird just left. It was only ever a guest on this farm. I want to put those two facts next to each other one last time because they're the whole thing. It never trusted me. Not in 6 weeks of being fed and splinted and housed. It let me handle it, and it stayed stiff, and it never once gave me what the tiger gave me at a range of 1 meter on the first day. Fine, it's a wild animal. That's correct behavior. And the moment I took the splint off, the moment it was free to go and understood that it decided what I was. That's the rule. Every animal in this story is the same animal, and none of them are mine, and none of them ever were. The tiger can leave. The leopards do leave. They live on the back mountain and come when they want. The foxes vanish for entire winters. The kite lives in Siberia when it feels like it. They all come back because they can leave. The stork gave me the pendant on its way out of my life forever, and that's not a coincidence, and it's not the system being sentimental. That's the price list. Ask me again when the next thing shows up broken at my gate. One more, because I owe you the honey bear, and how I actually met him. I was coming down a mountain when I got the feeling something was following me, which was strange because my danger perception hadn't fired. I stopped, looked back. Trees, grass, wind. Something's wrong. There is definitely something there. Old Chen, what's up? Why do you keep looking behind you? Is there something back there? What did you see? You might not believe this, but my instincts are usually right. I've had the feeling something's been following me. I look back and there's nothing. The growth here is too thick. Grass is high. Genuinely hard to see. Old Chen, I believe your instincts. Is there anyone who doesn't? What if it's something bad? I hear the deep mountains have heavy yin energy, and the little ghosts like to gather there. Has the streamer been marked by something? I've heard so many horror stories, and they're all set in mountains, and they're all told so convincingly. And the chat began thoroughly spooking itself. To be fair, young man, alone, deep old-growth forest. Add ominous music, and that is unambiguously the opening of a horror film. I was completely calm. I grew up in these mountains. I've heard all the stories. I was a brave kid. I walked on until the trees opened out, wider spacing, shorter grass. And then I whipped around, and I saw the thing that was stalking me. A black bear. And the instant it realized I'd seen it, it dove behind a tree. The tree was extremely narrow. It did not conceal any of the bear. So there it stood, frozen, motionless, head down, visibly reciting, "You can't see me, you can't see me." I lost it. I said something was following me. My gut was right. Look over there, a black bear. Sneaky little thing. The drone swung over and gave everyone a perfect view of a bear that had hidden none of itself while fully committing to the posture of a bear who had, which made it cuter. Why is this bear adorable? What is it doing? There really was something following him. Old Chen's instincts are no joke. He hid nothing. This bear is so dumb. He doesn't think he's hidden well, does he? And there's a reason it was trailing me so obediently. I'd helped this bear find a wife. And in winter, on a mission, I'd fed it a bucket of fish just as it went into hibernation. So the bear remembers, following this guy means fish. That's the whole plan. It's just waiting to find out when I hand over the fish. But it's been a long time, so it's gone a bit shy around me again. Some animals are afraid of humans. They see a person, they run. So it didn't dare come close. It just hid. Hey, what are you following me for? Playing stalker now? Understand the shape of this. The chat is watching a horror movie. The bear thinks it's running a covert operation. The bear has taken up a concealed observation post behind a tree 1/3 of its width. And the actual situation is that a wild black bear is trying to work out how to politely ask a man for fish, is too embarrassed to just come over, and has therefore been tailing him down a mountain for 20 minutes at a respectful distance. Some seasons later, that same bear would tear open a hive with a face full of stings and carry the comb to me, while the whole internet called it protection money. It was never protection money. He was paying me back for the fish. Ask me again when the next thing shows up broken at my gate.